masculinity to me is all about just taking care of each other and just being there for your loved ones, being there, being responsible. Setting an example is what I feel is masculine. I was not someone who was always present in class. I was always playing sports in the field. I never studied in class. I could never study. I had focus issues. Like I was always the backbencher who would be playing with his friends, not listening to the teacher. But the teacher also knew that this guy would do okay in exams, so just let him be. People keep talking about chase your passion and do this, that. Sometimes people don't know what their passion is. What do you do then? Guys thinking that Mr. India is just about looks or a great body, but it's actually not. Just failing and being delusional that probably one day I would win doesn't work like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, hello and welcome. I'm your host, Femina Miss India Punjab 2017, Navpreet Kaur, and I present to you Modern Indian Men, powered by Mr. India. And today, we begin a journey into the hearts and minds of the men we think we know, but rarely truly hear. Because let's be honest, for generations, men have been told to man up, to toughen up, to not cry, and definitely not to feel too much. But the world has changed. We have changed. And this podcast is a safe space, a safe, unfiltered space for the modern Indian man to speak about everything. We will talk with Mr. India winners, global stage walkers, creators, professionals, men who've redefined success and masculinity in their own ways. We're not chasing perfection here. We are chasing perspective. And to kick things off, we have someone truly special with us today. He has walked international runways, won titles, and broken a few stereotypes along the way. But what makes him truly unforgettable? It is his story, his heart, and his honesty. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let's welcome Mr. Altamash Faraz, Mr. Supranational Asia and Oceania 2017.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi Altamash, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much. So, we're starting this new show about modern Indian men.
Right.
And you're my very first guest.
Thank
and
you.
I
I'm
believe
honored.
you are one example of what a modern Indian man is like.
Wow.
So, may I please ask you, very first question, that how do you define masculinity?
Masculinity. Well, I think when we talk about masculinity, it has just kept evolving over times. Back in the primitive days, people used to think of a man as someone who's a bread earner, someone who was always on the forefront of providing for the family and stuff like that. But I think it's most about the ideology that has evolved over time. And with the changing times, even women have been taking part in sharing responsibilities and just providing for the family. And I think masculinity to me is all about just taking care of each other and just being there for your loved ones, being there, being responsible. Setting an example is what I feel is masculine, so that people could be inspired looking at you. That's masculine.
That's a very, very impressive answer.
Thank you.
When we talk about modern Indian men, we see that men were very opposed to the idea of looking after themselves when it comes to grooming or skincare or hair care, you know.
Yeah.
And we see today, men are getting into all of that. They're looking after themselves.
Right.
How do you see this change?
People tend to go to the aspect of grooming only when they're well taken care of in their lives. And once they achieve that level of financial stability, and I think India as a general population, though still we're working and we're a developing nation right now, but I think over the years the country's growth has been fascinating. So as the money is coming in, new perspective, and people want to get better. And as in when you want to get better, people want to be groomed, they want to look good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
True. As a nation that's evolving,
Right.
I believe right now is a perfect time for all our Indian men also to, get into the zone of self-care and get in touch with the ever-evolving world as well.
Yeah. I think also because of the advent of social media and the technology around us, people are far more connected than they usually were in the past. Right now, everybody knows what everyone's wearing every day because of the social media. So everybody wants to look their best because you never know where you get clicked. If you are living in a world like that, then obviously it makes sense to be more groomed to look at your best all the time.
How were your school days like? How was our lovely Miss India Altamash as a kid? Were you a
kid.
naughty one or an obedient student or what were you like?
I had a very transformative childhood actually. I was a very, very naughty kid, but that's only when I was in a comforted environment like my own family and my home. I was extremely naughty, but I was very, very extremely shy when I was in the school or in a public space where I was not very familiar. But that happened until 8th or 9th standard. After that, I think I just wanted to get out of that shell of being shy and wanted to grow as an individual, and I found great set of friends who made me overcome it, and I think it's a very beautiful childhood that I had. So it was just about living. Yeah, I was one kid who was extremely good in sports. I was very, very good in academics, and so yeah, I think I enjoyed everything about the sports that I used to play all the time. There was no pressure actually. I'm not that old, but in today's time, it's more about competition all the time, which is good, preparing children for the competition. But I think you can never prepare enough. So just letting them live the life is also very important. So I'm very fortunate that my parents never beat myself to just be studying all the time. I was not a kid who would always be present in school. Like my mother, even if I wanted to go to school, she'd wake me up and she'd look out of the window and it was raining. She was like, oh, or it was a very chilly day. She would say, oh, sleep, sleep, it's very cold. So even if I wanted to go to school. But even then, I excelled in academics. I topped the entire school in my 12th standard. So I'm still, it's written Scholar of the Year for this year. At like a board in my school over there. So yeah, I think I was not someone who was always present in class. I was always playing sports in the field. I never studied in class. I could never study. I had focus issues. Like I was always the backbencher who would be playing with his friends, not listening to the teacher. But the teacher also knew that this guy would do okay in exams, so just let him be. So I think you just have to find a balance about everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was
with my parents, that was with my teachers, and that's about life also. I think if you find the balance, everything just sails peacefully.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, when I listen to you, I am just sitting here and listening, and because when you speak, you make a lot of sense, and all your words are so polished. So, I want to know, were you always like this, or did you happen to groom yourself for the pageant, or like schooling or college? How did you become this gentleman that you are
No,
today?
not really. I would tell you that I never thought about being an actor. I never in my wildest dreams have I thought that I would enter any pageant. Like that was a far-fetched dream. I was one kid who was so shy. Like I had a stage fright, terrible stage fright. I couldn't walk up to the stage just to, even in my school days, like when the teachers or the principal would assign us to read news or any kind of information on the stage in the assembly, I would just be absent that day. I had a terrible stage fright. But I think over the years, just because I wanted to fight it off and I just wanted to get over it, was the time when I started working towards it, facing my fears. And I think if you really want to overcome something, however big the fear is, you can always overcome that. I started participating in plays in my school, and initially when I took part in plays, I was terrible. I remember one time when I went up on the stage and I just couldn't, I froze. I just didn't know what to say, my dialogue, everything, and the entire skit was spoiled because of me. And I was like, why did this happen? I was like, okay, this is one day opportunity and I would just probably try again.
Yeah.
And then the next time I rehearsed so much, then I actually spoke everybody's lines. The other actors also, and I forgot that I was wearing a mic and I was just blabbering all the dialogues for everyone else as well. But yeah, I think you just learn from your mistakes, and I think if you're making mistakes, then you're moving ahead in your life. That's very important.
I mean, if we look at Altamash today and we imagine, oh, Altamash froze on stage, not possible.
But I think confidence, it's a journey. You can never be too confident about anything. You will have days, even when you are super successful, even if you have achieved everything in your life, you will have days where you would feel underconfident. You would feel you're not good enough. But you have to, understand, and you have to prepare yourself in life that whatever come may, you will be able to fight it off and learn. If
Right.
you have the ability to learn, adapt, and grow, you can achieve anything, whatever it is in life. I think that's very important.
And how do you believe it is important for a modern Indian man to keep learning new things?
I think not just for the modern Indian man, learning is very important for any human. Because learning is all about growth, and growing is very important, because as the time is passing by, you have to grow. If you don't grow, if you don't evolve, it's the survival of the fittest. So if you don't grow, you'd be written off. So I
Right.
think it's very important for us as species to just keep growing, learning. And when we talk about growth, I think the growth should be very positive, because everything comes with pros and cons. So when we are striving for growth, we need to understand that we need to grow in a way which is nurturing for everyone, nurturing for people around us, nurturing for the environment around us, nurturing for everything, that there is a stability and there is a balance of everything while we are proceeding ahead in life. We're not actually knocking off things for the future generations, or that we look back in our past and we'd be ashamed of what we've
Right.
done. Keeping a balance of everything is very important for the growth. Yeah.
Absolutely. And now, what message would you give to a person who's come to Mumbai looking at your journey? Hey, Altamash made it so far. I wanted to.
I think everybody's got their own journey, and the only message I would like to give anyone is just try. You will never know unless you try. But I think destiny had its own course for me, because the universe aligns according to what's inside you.
True.
Whatever you feel like, what's truly that you desire, the universe would always listen to it if you have good intentions and a clear vessel, so that it just aligns with the universe. And me, looking back, I would have never thought that I would become an actor or even dare to become an actor. But it's just that I kept trying. I never thought. I was delusional, more so I would say that. Despite studying law, I studied law, and then after that I was like, what do I do? Should I join a law firm? Because I had a few offers.
Yeah.
But I was just very clear that I don't want to do law. I wouldn't be happy over there.
Right.
And I didn't join a law firm, even though I was getting good offers, I was getting paid well. But I was like, let's just pause for a moment, think what I want to do, and then probably, okay, is acting, can that really happen? But I was very, very scared to chase it. I didn't know anyone in Bombay. I didn't know anyone from the industry. I was like, how would I figure it out? So, but it's just that I paused, and I made sure I didn't want to do law. I want to do acting, and I'll figure it out. And just
Yeah.
things started happening, because once you align yourself with the thing that you want to do, things will fall in place. So I think the only advice is just identify what you really want, even if you can't identify, because that's a major decision in life. Like, what do you really want to do? Because people keep talking about chase your passion and do this, that. Sometimes people don't know what their passion is. What do you do then? If you don't know your passion, what's the second best option?
Yeah.
If you don't know what's the second best, what's the third best option? What is something that, if not the best, what is good for you? Start doing the good, and then you'll figure it out on the way.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, a person, a modern man who at some stage in his life is currently trying and trying very hard to be successful and is failing,
Right.
because failure, as we all know, is inevitable.
Right.
Now, when you fail, I'm sure you must have tasted your,
Of course.
chunk of failure.
Of course.
How do you deal with it? And has it been too disappointing someday in your life? And how did you get over it?
I think it's about your inner core. I, as a human, I'm very centered, and I don't really attach myself to anything. As I said, I'm here to experience life. I'm not here to accumulate. And I think when you understand that, and when you understand what is the process, like, I don't really think about one achievement would just make my life.
Okay.
Like, if I get a big movie, it just would change my life. Of course, it might, but it just wouldn't be the end of it, right? I could be unhappy even after becoming a superstar. What then? So for me, it's more about finding a right balance of experience in the life. When you talk about people getting disappointed, of course everybody gets disappointed, but you have to have a thick skin, because if you are failing, that also means you're trying.
Yeah.
You're making constant efforts, right? Rather than just someone who's just failed and left it.
Yeah.
If you're failing, then the next step would be a better one, because you want to win again.
Yeah.
Right? You would learn from the mistakes and be. But also, having said that, while you're failing, being aware is very important while you fail. Just failing and being delusional that probably one day I would win doesn't work like that. You have to be aware that, okay, I'm failing, but why am I failing?
Exactly.
What is the problem? Why am I failing? And if you are aware of that, if you're not delusional, then I think things eventually will work. And I think while you fail, disappointment is a human nature, it comes to you. But don't let that emotion take over you.
Right.
You have to be very centered. You have to know that one point or one aspect of life is not your life. Your life is a bigger picture. That one, I would not let one thing affect my life. So, having that broader perspective about life, that I will not let anything make my life bad, negative, because I have just got one life. I have to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
Right? So, thinking about those
You
things.
only live once, after
Yeah,
all.
yeah. So thinking about those things, it really doesn't let you be down.
Right. So we've talked about trying, we've talked about failure. Let's talk about success. Whenever we open our Instagram, we see not just Indian, but globally, men and women defining what success is like. You wake up at 4 a.m., do your ice dipping, do your morning jog,
Yeah.
and then open the new company by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
All that. And we look at it, we find it, sometimes find it very, very aspirational, very inspiring, but then also very challenging to follow through and also silly at times. What is your take on this method of success? How do you define success? Is there a formula for it? Or is it just the gut feeling or trying? What is success to you?
Well, I think success in itself is a very broad term, and it just ideates differently to different people. But for me, I think success is having a balance of everything in my life. I just don't want all the wealth in the world. Of course, I am very ambitious. I want a lot of it, but not just that. I want a balance of a personal, professional, and everything around it, which is beautifully balanced. That's what success really is to me. Because if you keep chasing one thing in your life, it would just never satiate you. You would just be making another goal, one after the other.
Obviously.
Money, fame, uh, whatever you like. But I think what's more important than that is that people need to know what they want for themselves. That's when they would be actually feeling successful and happy.
Altamash, a modern Indian man. Why Mr. India?
As my journey has proceeded in life, I think Mr. India happened for me, it was just written in my destiny. Like, I never thought of coming into pageants. I was studying law at that time when I participated in Mr. India, but I had just always aspired those Mr. India winners back in the days who used to be very, very cool and happening at that time. But I remember when Rohit Bhai won Mr. World, his article had come out in the newspaper, and I was very impressed by some Indian guy winning Mr. World title, and that was
Yeah.
very, very cool. I was like, man, this is amazing achievement for him. And when Mr. India was happening, one of my friend called me that, hey, this Mr. India is happening. Why don't you come with me? We'll go for auditions. I was like, dude, Mr. India, I can't go for Mr. India. Like, this is the one great example for anybody who thinks sometimes that they're not good enough.
Yeah.
But you never know what happens in your life or how prepared you are, and based on the competition, how can you judge yourself?
Yeah.
Right? So it's up to the judges. So you should always try. But at that time, I was like, dude, Mr. India, I'm not even close to being a Mr. India. I can't even think about participating over there. You go and you try your luck. And he was like very, very forceful and adamant that you come with me. It's going to be an entire day event and we just chill because I don't want to get bored. I won't have a friend over there. I was like, okay, I'll go. And then I reached the venue. It was happening in Delhi auditions. And my friend was already there. And I parked my car just right in front of the venue, and I see a line which was like 1.5 kilometer lambi line.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, there's so many guys. मेरा तो कोई chance ही नहीं है. And I was like, sitting in the car. I thought कि अभी line वाइन खत्म हो जाएगी. I'll go in the last and register myself. वैसे भी मेरे कोई वो नहीं है, कोई chance. And then I sat in my car for an hour or so, and then I was calling my friend, but it was in the basement or somewhere, so the network wasn't getting through.
Yeah.
I couldn't get connected to him. And then after 1.5 or 2 hours, I went. I thought let's just go find out what's happening. Otherwise, मैं बैठे ही रहना जाऊँ गाड़ी में. I went to the registration desk and see, this is how destiny plays its part. The line was so long. I went up to the desk just to ask, and the moment I go up to the desk, someone who was sitting at the desk, they said, "यार line बहुत लंबी हो गई, एक और बना लेते हैं." And I was just bang. I was the first one in the line. So this is how destiny plays its role. And then I registered. I went into the venue, and somehow I cleared the Delhi auditions, and there were very amazing boys over there. And even after I cleared Delhi auditions, I didn't tell my parents that Mr. India or anything. I was like, by fluke हो गया होगा कुछ, मतलब शायद कुछ ऐसा होगा. And then they called us for the final round of auditions in Bombay. And over there I was thinking, Bombay so is like Bollywood and fashion industry ka center, and guys over there would be so prepared. Everybody would be like 6-pack abs and amazing hot Greek bodies and stuff like that. So they said, get your stuff with you, because if you get selected in Bombay, you might have to stay for like 20-25 days for the pageant and then go later. I was like, Bombay mein no chance. Abhi Delhi mein ho gaya, Bombay mein seriously no chance. I got my stuff for like 2-3 days. I just thought I'd give the audition, come back, meet my friends and be back in like 2-3 days. I just packed for 2-3 days, went to Bombay, didn't tell my parents that anything like that is happening, and somehow I got cleared in the final round of auditions. I was in the final 16 of Mr. India, and I was like, dude, this is serious now.
Gotta call my
I
parents
gotta call my parents now. That where am I gonna be for the next 20 days? I called my parents. They were really happy, and they were like, we always believed in you. Best learning I got from the entire Mr. India pageant was, I came without an expectation. Because I never thought that I would win. I wasn't expecting to win, and I just thought, I'm here. Whatever I'm getting is the best, and I'm just getting a bonus. If I'm in top 100, wow, yeah, I'm in top 100. If I'm in top 20, wow, I'm in top 20. If I'm in top 3, wow. So everything was good for me. Yeah. I wasn't expecting, and when you're not expecting, that's when you're at your best. Because expectation makes you weak. Because if you're expecting, yaar, I should win. If I don't win, क्या हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. Being a finalist is a very, very big thing for Mr. India. And I think I was so confident, I was never nervous. Because आपने एग्जाम में ज़्यादा पढ़ाई कर ली होती तब ज़्यादा नर्वस होते ना आप. तो ये मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ कि मैं एकदम I was just at my best. And I think I never prepared myself for Mr. India, but I was always a guy who wanted to get better in everything in life. Like when I talked about my stage fright. When I talked about anything about my personality, be it how I dress, how I talk, how I walk. I just wanted to be in a good place in life, to be better, just keep growing. When you have that kind of an attitude, I think it's whatever comes in your life, you would just smash it. So that's very important, that don't prepare for an event in your life, prepare for life. Look at life as the larger picture, that you should be so confident, prepared for everything that comes your way in your life, you would smash it. Guys thinking that Mr. India is just about looks or a great body, but it's actually not. Mr. India is about a personality which is charming, a personality which is opinionated, has knowledge, has their own thoughts about different things, and has some kind of a vision about life. Like if you want to give some kind of a responsibility to a person, you might want to give it to someone who takes it ahead, who takes the legacy ahead, and he does something with it. If you give a platform to someone who would do nothing about it, then it's just a platform wasted. So Mr. India is a huge platform. Just changed my life as well, because I think after Mr. India, I could really gather myself to come to Bombay and pursue my dream of acting. If Mr. India hadn't happened, I would be pursuing law right now. If not law, something else, but not acting. Once you sit, once you talk to yourself, identify yourself, what you really want, and I think you'll get all the answers.